Brad Matheny again. Today's the 8th of April. This is a quick little update. This is where I left the chart on the morning update. Actually, we were over here looking at Bitcoin, which is rolling slightly downward right now. But we come back over here to this hourly chart of the SPY. And remember, today's pattern is spread this out. Today's pattern is a bottom rally start pattern in counter trend mode. So I had shown you that it should likely move into kind of a rolling top type of pattern and move into downward trending. You remember I told you about that, right? Kind of hard to see over here, but here's our gap up, back down here. Let me see if I can get these to come to the top. And I'll just draw it for you. Here's our gap up right at the 520, 525 resistance, and now we're rolling down into the downtrend. So am I saying this is a perfect pattern? No, it's too early to tell. There was a pretty good gap. The S&P rolled quite a bit higher. We are now rolling downward. The Dow Jones was up 1,300 plus points. NASDAQ was up probably 600. S&P was up probably 1720. We're running back into the resistance level right here at 520, 525 level. And we're likely going to try to come back down to this lower channel down here, which would end up being a very solid, I'll do this in green, support. Okay, that was a whole bunch of lines. So put that back to purple. And come back over here, look for my line. Here we go. And this will likely end up being our downside support. So what we're looking at right now, guys, is, spread this out. We're looking at exactly what I told you and predicted yesterday. We had the pop pattern in counter trend mode to the upside. We had a big gap this morning rolling into a pullback, probably down here this call it 500 to 510 area. I really think 500 to 505. We'll see. And then tomorrow we get that little topping pattern, kind of reconfirming up into this 517, maybe likely area high, 518, and coming back down into the 505, 500 area. And then we move into consolidation, which will likely trend a little bit higher by the end of the day, maybe not much, 510, 511. And then we get that breakdown pattern on Friday. The markets are playing out extremely well, but I wanted to show you this chart here, which is my crash index. And I've shown you the crash index before. The crash index is here. I'll just put this here so you can see there's a symbol. Feel free to use it, copy it, do what you want to do. This is what I call my crash index. And really what it is financials, transports, gold, and oil combined into one little index and divided by 4. And what we can see here is it mirrors, this is the SPY. It mirrors the SPY fairly cleanly and really shows us the consolidation and the rolling trend, right? So here's the mirror of the SPY, the rolling. You can see how it rolls fairly cleanly. But at the same point in time, you can see here how we started with a fairly strong downtrend, rolled into a weaker high here. So you can see we've come across this area, whereas we have divergence across here. Now we're rolling into a stronger downtrend. Once we break down below this middle Bollinger Band level, and this is one of my proprietary Bollinger Band systems, we'll move into downward trending. We have not yet broken downward. So understand that my target area is really this 500 to 505 area today. And I believe what we're going to see is kind of a roll, a struggle on down into the close. May not be a big aggressive sell-off, but until we break below this channel, we're not going to see any big trending. This is gold down here, giving me an eye on what's going on with gold. So where we're at with this is a pretty solid rollover. I mean, you can look at the markets. You can see that we peaked out right back over here at resistance. We're headed back down into this middle channel. And given where we're at in this zone, we're going to end up finding a middle channel of support between the 382 and 50 area, which would likely be between this area here. Sorry, 382 and 618. So I will leave that there and here. And so that little boxed area is where we need to realize that's the battle zone of this big range from way up here at 522, 523, 524 down to this lower channel at about 480. That middle channel right in here, actually I got to make it a little bigger and drag it down. That's going to be the battle zone right there. That's the 382 to 618 area. You can kind of picture it in your mind. It's the Fibonacci level. Remember, it comes basically from looking at this. So we come to this low, up to about this high. And how did I do? A little big. So basically here to there. That's the 382 to 618 level. That's going to be the battle zone. So this area is going to be where price is going to struggle to determine trend. Think of this as the water level. And if it's above, then it's trying to move higher and or failing, in this case, moving down. And if it's below, then it's trying to move lower and or failing and moving back up to the water level. That's kind of how Fibonacci works. As another example. But again, I'm looking for this, call it 500 to 505, maybe 508 area by the end of the day. I'm thinking we're going to get a moderate breakdown trend. And as you can see, we'll come in here to 10 minutes. You can see that we're already rolling, about to get below the opening price low, about to break down. And like I said, in my opinion, we're going to be looking at this level right over here as our potential low today. That's where I think it's probably going to end up. So again, just want to give you a heads up. Really love all the comments. Thank you, everyone. Glad you're finding value in this. We're really looking at this market settling. So if I could tell you, what I think is going to come next, is settling. We're going to roll into this consolidation, back down to these lows, probably reject back to the upside, because remember, we've got to set up that bigger cradle pattern. So there's two patterns I'm trying to teach you, as well as the cycle patterns. But the long and short of it is the cradle pattern. I'll come over here and draw it for you. The cradle pattern is going to set up like this. It's going to move down into this mode, set a low, move back up, set a bottom, and then stall out, just like that. Now, at that point, it's either going to go higher or it's going to break down to the downside. Currently, the downside has a stronger potential move. Okay, so the cradle pattern here is going to run up, set this up. I think what's going to happen is we're going to roll into some consolidated trending, eventually move down, move up, move back down, move back up. At this point, we fail and move down. This is going to be in June. So this is kind of the expectation I have for the markets right now, rolling around that red line kind of structure. The cradle pattern theoretically is going to set up in this consolidation pattern. That would be fine. That would be totally expected. The cradle pattern must set up a moderate high level and consolidate back down to this low level after reaching. So, I mean, reality is it comes down, sets a low. We've already got the low here. We're getting immediate rebound, setting up this high. I believe we're going to come down, retest the low, That'll be our first low, second, third, fourth. And at this point, we roll into a moderate breakdown phase, potentially. So it gives you an idea of what's likely to happen. Remember, it's only April 8th right now. I'm telling you what's going on all the way out here through June and July. And I doubt very strongly that anybody can do this with any degree of accuracy, even me. I'll be honest with you at this point, looking at this, not knowing what's going to happen with news, this is what I think would happen under a perfect set of circumstances. No outside news, no geopolitical news, no craziness. But we could get craziness in here and it could disrupt this pattern. But in a perfect world, hypothetically, if my patterns play out the way they're supposed to, we're going to definitely get to this point right here. I'll put an arrow right there. We're definitely going to get to that point through the excess phase peak and through the cradle pattern. And then from there, we have two choices. We have either we are going to rally and invalidate, or we are going to break down into a much larger downtrend. And that's what the cradle pattern does. It either rallies through this upper level, 520, 525, and starts to invalidate, or it fails at this high, moves down, breaks below the 480 level, and starts to move down into the deeper low. So again, this long term, many months out in the future, but I need you to be aware that we are in this cradling pattern, consolidation pattern. It's all playing out exactly like I told you. Okay, so we're going to come back over here, take a look at the SPY. This is 10 minutes, spread it out, see where we're at. Down to 12, looks like we broke down. Yep, starting to break down. Just like the pattern suggested. So we're now, if we can get down below this opening low, we're in this gap window, and that puts us at a pretty solid move to potentially come down and fill this gap, which will put the close roughly 505 or lower. And again, it's all price. It's not indicator, and this is what I've been trying to teach you for many months, is that price is the ultimate indicator. So as you're watching this, and some of you are writing that you're amazed that I'm able to do this, and amazed that my little cycle patterns are able to predict out into the future what's likely going to happen. This is all Gann, Tesla, and Fibonacci. Tesla is a measurement of energy, price, amplitude, cycles, and vibration. And what we're doing is we're applying that through various cycle structures to determine what's going on, but we're also applying Fibonacci price theory and core price constructs to the market to try to figure out what's happening. So right now, you know, if we were to come down here where the market's gonna end, hypothetically, the S&P may close just a little bit to the upside from yesterday, or slightly down yesterday. Remember, tomorrow we're probably going to get a little gap or a rally in the morning, rolling up into that topping pattern, then rolling back over again, probably down into 500 to 510 area. And then we move into consolidation, which may open up like here, a little downward, and then roll sideways, trying to close a little higher. Then we get that big breakdown pattern right over here. Okay, guys, like I said, really appreciate all the comments. Oh, there's our breakdown, just like I predicted. Okay, guys, here we go. Perfect timing. Come out here, do a video, and look. The markets basically confirm my pattern today. So let's see what happens here. We're getting the big breakdown. We're now in the mode to try to fill this gap. We're on our way to targeting this 500, 504 area. Okay, guys, talk to you later. Go ahead and get some.